Welcome to The Explainer. In today's world, businesses are absolutely swimming in information. But how do you actually turn that massive flood of data into a real winning strategy? Well, that's where the power of business intelligence, or BI, comes in. And today, we're going to break it all down. It's a funny situation when you think about it, isn't it? Companies have more data than ever before. I'm talking sales figures, customer emails, market trends, the works. And yet, so many of them are completely struggling to make any sense of it all. See, having the data is one thing. Knowing what to do with it, that's a whole other ballgame. And that's exactly the problem business intelligence was born to solve. So what is BI at its core? Well, it's really the process of taking all that messy, chaotic data and transforming it into clear, actionable insights. A great way to think about it is like a translator. It's a system that speaks the language of raw data and the language of human decision-making, letting businesses operate on cold, hard evidence, not just guesswork. So here's our game plan. First up, we'll dive a little deeper into that core problem of drowning in data. Then we're going to climb what's called the BI pyramid to see exactly how that data gets refined. After that, we'll look at who's using these insights, from analysts all the way up to CEOs, and check out the tools they use to do it. And finally, we'll land on the ultimate goal, making that one crucial final decision. All right, let's kick things off with that central challenge we've been talking about, the problem of noise. Businesses are just constantly collecting this stream of information, right? From sales, from marketing, from operations, but without a system to filter it all and organize it, all that potential insight just becomes, well, overwhelming noise. So how do we build that system? Well, the answer lies in seeing the whole process as a pyramid. And I absolutely love this analogy because it perfectly shows how we start with this huge, chaotic mountain of raw data at the bottom, and we methodically refine it step by step all the way up to a single, sharp, informed decision at the very peak. And here they are, the 6 levels of that journey, all laid out. You can see it's a clear flow, right? It starts with the raw data sources, moves through cleaning it up, exploring it, analyzing it, all building up to that final decision. So let's climb this thing step by step. Okay, level 1 is all about collection. This is where you're just gathering every possible piece of the puzzle. We're talking data from your sales software, the unstructured text from thousands of emails, even information you get from outside partners. This is the raw material for absolutely everything that's going to follow. Now, next up is a super important step called ETL. That's extract, transform, and load. Think of this as the cleanup crew. It takes all that messy, disorganized data we just collected, and it cleans it, it standardizes it, and it organizes it neatly into what we call a data warehouse. Honestly, it's the difference between a hoarder's garage and a perfectly cataloged library. It's crucial. So, once our data is all organized, we can finally start asking it some questions. This stage is called passive analysis because a human is in the driver's seat. A manager might have a hunch, right? Something like, I bet our sales are down in the Northeast for customers under 30. They then use the BI tools to dig into the data and see if they're right or wrong. But what if you don't even know what question to ask in the first place? That's where data mining completely flips the script. This is active analysis, where you let the system itself play detective. You unleash these powerful algorithms to sift through all that data and find hidden patterns and connections you never, ever would have thought to look for. It's how you discover that, say, customers who buy product A on a Tuesday are way more likely to buy product B within the next 48 hours. Wild. So let's just put that side by side to make it super clear. Data exploration is you, a human, asking the data a specific question. Data mining is the data surprising you with an answer to a question you didn't even know you had. And both are incredibly valuable. Okay, so with all these new insights in hand, we hit the optimization level. This is where we stop looking at the past and start planning for the future. It's kind of like having a super complex maze with 1,000 different paths, but using mathematical models to instantly highlight the single most effective route to your goal, whether that's the most efficient delivery route or the perfect marketing budget. And that brings us to the very top of the pyramid, the decision itself. After all that collecting, cleaning, exploring, and optimizing, the final result is presented to a human being. The entire structure, this whole pyramid, is built for one purpose: to empower a person to make the best, most informed choice they possibly can. So we've climbed the pyramid, we've seen how the process works, but who's actually using all this stuff? Is it just for a handful of elite data scientists locked away in a basement somewhere? Well, the answer might surprise you. It's pretty much for everyone. Yeah, this isn't just a tool for specialists anymore. Data analysts obviously use it for their deep dives, but CEOs use it to steer the entire company. Government officials use it to help shape public policy. And because these tools are getting so much more user-friendly, even small business owners can now leverage this kind of power to compete with the big guys. And BI supports decisions at every single level. You've got the strategic level. That's the big picture, long-term company vision. Then there's the tactical level, which helps managers adjust their plans on the fly. And then you have the operational level, which guides all the daily, on-the-ground choices that keep the business running smoothly day in and day out. Of course, none of this just happens by magic. So what's actually powering it all behind the scenes? Let's take a quick look at the tools of the trade, the actual software platforms that make this whole complicated process possible. So here are just a few of the heavy hitters out there. You've got Tableau, which is famous for its incredible data visualizations. I mean, it really makes data beautiful and easy to understand. Then there's Microsoft's Power BI, which is super popular because it just works so well with tools people already use, like Excel, and it's usually pretty affordable. And then you have platforms like Looker, which are built for modern collaborative data work in the cloud. They all have their own strengths, but they all share that same exact goal, creating clarity from complexity. All of this brings us to a really critical question. With all this powerful technology, all this amazing data, is the human element, our own judgment, becoming irrelevant? And the answer is a big, fat no. This quote from our source material really just hits the nail on the head. It highlights that this whole thing is a partnership. The models give you these incredibly powerful, data-driven suggestions, but at the end of the day, it's the human decision maker who brings that essential context, their experience, and their intuition to make the final call. So let's bring it all home. What are the big takeaways here? 1, business intelligence is all about turning raw data into smart decisions. 2, it's a structured journey. Remember that pyramid. 3, it's not just for specialists. It empowers everyone from analysts to CEOs. And maybe the most important point of all, it's a tool designed to aid human intuition, not replace it. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a world with analytical tools that are getting more and more powerful every single day, does that make our human gut feeling a thing of the past? Or is that little spark of intuition, now backed by incredible data, more valuable than it has ever been?